A lifelong relationship is what God has called us into. Hi, I'm Dr. Gloria Mitchell, and I want to talk about that relationship from Matthew 22, verses 37 through 39. When asked what is the greatest commandment, Jesus replied, "Love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself." So that longest relationship that you can think of is what? Do you realize that the longest relationship that you'll ever have is with yourself? That's a commandment. Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself. Well, you can't love somebody if you don't love yourself first. So you are very important to him. And so as we talk about relationships, know that God is the one who established the institution of marriage and the family. Yes, the family. God placed each of us into a family. That's a social unit where we can learn to love and to be loved. Do you know yourself? Do you love yourself? Well, to love yourself, as Jesus said, it's a commandment. He's saying, get to know who you are. When you look in the mirror, would you look at yourself and say, I am fearfully and wonderfully made? I am marvelous in his sight, and I know that quite well. Get to know yourself. Not only should you get to know yourself in order to be able to love yourself, you should take good care of yourself. Self-care is important. I know that there are maybe perhaps a time when there's a pandemic or something happens like a crisis. A crisis is something that knocks you off your feet and you feel like, oh, I don't know if I can make it. Those are the times when you need to tell yourself, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And when we do that, we're loving ourselves. We're showing ourselves that we've got the stamina. We've got the ability to move forward in spite of circumstances. Even in the midst of job loss, separation, divorce, isolation, or an economic downturn, you still can love yourself. And you must, because Jesus said, a friend loves at all times. And we are his friends if we obey his commandments. And one of those commandments, the second greatest one, in fact, is to love your neighbor as you love yourself. Now, the neighbor is not the person next door. The neighbor could be anybody. So even during a time like a pandemic, as I mentioned, you could love your neighbor by making a phone call, giving a smile, speaking, ordering food, writing a card, visiting by dropping something off at the door and moving on. We could love our neighbor as we love ourselves, because it's something that we would want somebody to do for us. And in addition to getting to know yourself so that you can love yourself, there are times when we need to just go ahead and do some positive self-talk. And with that self-talk, it helps to build you up on the inside. Encourage yourself. Don't wait for somebody else to validate you. The Lord loves you. He told you so. God loved you so much that he gave his son to die for you. And Jesus loved you so much that he gave his life for you. And all he asked us to do is to love him as we love others as we love ourselves. And a friend loves at all times. So when we talk about this love relationship, your life your life, your whole life, you will be in this skin, whether you like it or not. You will be in whatever the flesh is that God placed you in. So get to know yourself. Do you know whether or not you have attached or unattached earlobes? Do you know whether you are a tongue roller like this or not? Everybody can do one or the other, or everybody fits in one or the other category. Do you know your blood type? Get to know yourself. And in addition to the self-talk, spend time talking to God. You see, our relationship with Him should be two ways. We talk to Him in prayer, and He talks to us. That's what happens in a love relationship. In a love relationship, communication is key. Yes, there's communication, but there's also compromise. There are times when you might not like what he says, but just do it anyway, simply because he might know what's best for you. And he said, love yourself. And then also there's commitment in a healthy relationship. You have to be committed to continue to keep the momentum, to keep going, no matter what. And then you would also find in a relationship, not just the ones I've already mentioned, but there is compassion. Do you love yourself? If you love yourself, you won't abuse yourself. And if you love yourself, you can let that love overflow so that others will experience the same love that you have within you. And you can't give something that you don't have. And so trust God to use you to be a blessing to others, and that the love that you exude will be a genuine love that comes out of your heart, because that's who you are. You see, as you engage in self-talk and looking at yourself, and you will know what it is that you believe. You must decide that. You will know what you believe, and then once you know what you believe, you'll know what you value. Do you value this body that God has given you? Then you will take care of it. You will love it and you won't abuse it. And then you will know what you like. Once you know what you believe and you value and you like, then you can be assured that you are loving yourself. And then if you discover that there's something that needs to change about you, do it. Change. And you can't do it by yourself. The Lord will help you. He will help you to change. Why? Because he loves you. And he loved you before you even loved yourself or before you loved him, because he knew you before you were born. So I want to leave this challenge with you. It's just a question just to think about. I want you to think about this and act upon it today. What will you do to show Jesus that you are obedient to his command to love others as you love yourself? What will you do today to love yourself? And then what will you do to love others? I thank you for listening and watching today. And if something was said that really touched you, or something you want to share about or comment on, please write it in the comments below. I'd love very much to hear from you. Have a blessed day.